Yay! We're on a new camera today. I'm so excited. This is the first sit down video that I am doing since the last time I was active on my YouTube account. I started reading a book called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a F. I don't cuss, so I'm not gonna say the full title. That's an interesting title. Like, why would someone not give a F? What is this author trying to say? I just connected to this simple sentence that he said. He said, don't try. The author explains that we have options that are so limitless, seeing that we have social media, we have many streaming channels, and that can make us unhappy because we start to compare subconsciously. Subconsciously, when you have this idea that you are not enough, you start to feed into that idea by comparing your life to others. Versus if you didn't have that idea about you not liking how your life is right now, or you're not okay with yourself right now, you don't love yourself that much. If you didn't have those ideas, you wouldn't necessarily start comparing your life, because you would just see greatness in what someone's life is. When you're actively choosing to see the good is when you understand you have a choice. You have a choice, because life doesn't have to end when something bad happens. Sometimes I think of that movie, I think it's called Soul, but it's like a Disney Pixar movie. And I think about that movie and how we are just souls and we experience life here on earth. And I kind of think of myself as like just this soul that is in my body and just able to experience things. And it's like, oh, like life is kind of like a playground. When we have poor values, that is, poor standards we set for ourselves and others, we are essentially giving F's about the things that don't matter. Things that in fact make our life worse. But when we choose better values, we are able to divert our F's into something better, towards things that matter, things that improve the state of our well-being and that generate happiness, pleasure, and success as side effects. Side effects, right? He also mentions like great values are things that you can control. If you have a value, and this was an example that he used, of like being liked by everyone, that's a poor value because you can't control how people view you. You can't control what they're thinking. Something that you can do, something that you can change, something that is a good value to have is, I'm going to be more sociable. I'm going to learn to be more sociable at parties. Okay? You can control that because you have the ability to speak. You have the ability to go and talk to somebody. And if they don't want to talk, you talk to somebody else. Like, that is something that you can control, and that is something that you can measure. That's a good value. You want to learn and have great social skills. We don't always control what happens to us, but we always control how we interpret what happens to us, as well as how we respond. Some things, they are not our fault, but they happen to us. You're growing up in a family that doesn't live in the best neighborhood. Was that your fault? No, because you didn't put yourself there. You didn't put yourself to grow up in that. You didn't put yourself to see things occurring in that neighborhood. You didn't choose that. But because you are there, what are the choices you're gonna make? How are you gonna respond to people in your neighborhood? How are you gonna respond to not being able to do something? When you don't take responsibility even being that things are not your fault, they impact you in a negative way, because it's that we can't control what happens, but we can choose what to do with what has happened and how we can go about it. I thought happiness was a destiny and not a choice. I thought love was something that just happened, not something that you worked for. I thought being cool had to be practiced and learned from others rather than invented for oneself. Oh my gosh, like this just made me feel so much sense of control in a good way. Like, yeah, I thought love was something that just happened too, not something that you work for, but being in a relationship is work. Work for yourself. Work in learning how to be or live with somebody else, because it's not your world anymore and you have another person to consider. But not even just that, love is also what you and your partner make it to be. The foundation of what the relationship is that y'all make is that y'all both have love for each other. It's just the little details of like, okay, how are we gonna choose to love each other? What does my partner like? How do we see each other growing within the relationship? Not just both of us as a couple, but as individuals. You have to consciously make decisions, because even if you don't make a decision and do nothing, it's still a decision. It's still an action and it has an effect. Most of us commit to action only if we feel a certain level of motivation, and we feel motivation only when we feel enough emotional inspiration. We assume that these steps occur in a sort of chain reaction like this: emotional inspiration, motivation, desirable action. Oh my gosh, this also was crazy, because like I have not felt motivation if I don't feel inspired. Like I've noted that I have said like, okay, I have a goal to do something, but I don't really feel inspired today. I don't really feel inspired. So then I let it be. No. You have to do something. You have to do anything. If you have in the back of your mind your intention, I have the intention of working out today. Okay, but I just don't feel inspired. Okay, so that means you're going to, I'm just gonna sit here. No. You don't want to sit here. You just said that you have an intention to work out today. So what are you gonna do? I just don't feel like moving. No, you need to move. You need to move. Even if that means that you go take a walk. Because it's very possible that once you're out there taking a walk, you got your shoes on, you got your cute outfit, it's very, very possible that you can just start running because you feel motivated. You feel inspired to run. You're looking cute. You posted it on your Instagram and you're like, dang, like I feel inspired. Like I feel inspired to make some changes to my body. Okay, go do it. Go walk. Go walk. Go walk. Just do it. Just do it. That's what this chapter was all about, was just doing it. Because when you do something, it could lead to something else. We gotta move to the backup camera. I want to continue talking to y'all. Let's finish the video on my little camera here. I thought it was a linear thing. I thought it was just these people that are always like consistent with their stuff, they feel inspired every day. But that's not true. At the end of the day, have emotions, we have feelings, we have thoughts. We could not feel good one day, and that's completely normal. Don't beat yourself up about it. But in feeling bad, what are you going to do? People with strong boundaries understand that it's reasonable to expect two people to accommodate each other 100% and fulfill every need the other has. People with strong boundaries understand that they may hurt someone else's feelings sometimes, but ultimately they can't determine how other people feel. People with strong boundaries understand that a healthy relationship is not about controlling one another's emotions, but rather about each partner supporting the other in their individual growth and in solving their own problems. This was also like, all these chapters are eye-opening. This was like, okay, this is hitting some nerves, like really bad. Because boundaries are just so important. We've all struggled with them in friendships, relationships, parent-child relationships, and I still have to work on boundaries within my relationship myself. The boundary of also knowing that the world doesn't revolve around you and not being entitled, because that's another thing that the book talks about, is that when you actually express real love, it's not always gonna be revolved around you. Just helping the other person you're in a relationship with be guided can be love. Carrying someone else's problems, it's just, why? Like, you're doing it for yourself in that perspective, right? Some things, that's just a battle they have to work on. You can't take on the load of every problem that they have just so you can feel at peace. Because in the end, like, who's really learning? Not them. We're all driven by fear to give way too many F's about something, because giving a F about something is the only thing that distracts us from the reality and inevitability of our own death. And to truly not give a single F is to achieve a quasi-spiritual state of embracing the impermanence of one's own existence. In that state, one is far less likely to get caught up in various forms of entitlement, because the world does not revolve around you. And like, just don't give a F for every single little thing. Like, oh, I feel like I might not have time to do this. Oh, is it too late? Oh, am I getting old? Oh, I think I should just let this go because this and that. People are gonna say this and that. I don't have the look that they want, blah, blah, blah. It does not matter. What matters is how important your life is, really. How priceless you are, because no one else is made like you. How one day we're going to die. That will be the end of us in this body here on earth. So care less and do what you gotta do. Do what is meant for you. And it just sounds so simple on these pages, and I know it takes work to do many things to change habits, but it can be done, and you can continue to push yourself forward rather than taking steps back. 100%, this is probably one of the books that I highly recommend reading. Those are my words on this book, and that's all I have to say about that. Thanks for watching.